time now for the juvenile fillies to 14 of them across the track. Eagle sent on their way. End of the dance on the outside, broke a little sideways, broke KK, but meanwhile it's going to be stopped. But running on now, and Somali Lemonade's got 8 to make up. They come to the top of the lane, stop, Shopping Maria's got a lot left. Stop, Shopping Maria goes on, Sweet Cat is right there, hard not to right, Royal Body is running on. Past the 8 ball weight comes, stop, Shopping Maria for the run, still under a hand run, they come to the 16th. Stephanie's Kitten coming out late, here's Stephanie's Kitten coming fast. Stephanie's Kitten, stop, Shopping Maria, Stephanie's Kitten's walking. Watched the chances, broke smartly, but so did Terra from the Cape. On the inside, Sky Lantern, the grey going well. If he can get through, Sky Lantern, the grey looking for somewhere to run. Wide open. It's Terra from the Cape hanging on. Terra from the Cape tries to go all the way. On the outside, now here comes Flotilla in the light blue. Flotilla is absolutely flying. Watch the chances in there too. But Flotilla has gone right on by. And Flotilla is coming home to score. Flotilla has won it just about 2 in the end. It'll be Watch the Chances, Summer of Fun coming on to finish third.
Live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning. Welcome to the Handicappers Report live from Saratoga, our Clare Court set, which has suited us well all summer long. And I say that because it is the last day, closing day, Labor Day here at Saratoga, which is closing day. Nice card today, card number 40. We're going to wrap it up. Seth, Merrow, Brian, Nadeau. Brian, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Seth. Happy closing day to you. Happy Labor Day and everybody out there. And yeah, here we are, huh? It's a pleasure to work with you as well. As I don't get to do it as much as maybe I used to. So I'm glad we can kind of shut it all down, so to speak, after... Yeah, it's been a fun summer. I think there's no doubt about it. We've seen some really great performances by some, great horses, like Hall of Fame kind of horses up here. And obviously, you can look back every summer at Saratoga, and it certainly never disappoints. But I just kind of feel, and not even the attendance thing, because we didn't have the fans last year, just strictly from the racing perspective, I think the bar's been raised a little bit this summer. Just, think of the Travers Day, the performances we saw, and just, by horses that are national horses that are going places. And I just think it's been a great summer up here.
I think at least last Saturday, 3 champions. And then I was kind of looking through for the next show, kind of recap stuff. I think there was another champion on Alabama Day. It'd be tough to beat Malathat, I think, and heard. So certainly some Eclipse winners up here, and that's not unusual. But I think we saw really good performances this year. I want to go back to last week. I'm curious. Last week, you were down at Gulfstream filling in. We had the fun kind of switcheroo. I had Ron in and his cousin Tom Mina one day. It was a lot of fun, and you went down and filled in for him, and he was up here sitting in the day before Travers Day. But I'm curious, you were at another venue on Travers Day. I'm curious what the scene was like around televisions at another venue on Travers Day with some of the big racing going on.
There was a lot of people at Gulfstream Park last Saturday, and I actually said that to Ashley Maiden, who I was working with, and I said, boy, there's a lot of people here. There was a buzz. You could tell it wasn't just, it was Sire Stakes Day at Gulfstream. They had two big races, $200,000 stakes races. But you could tell on a kind of a 92 degree summer day in August isn't necessarily the day you'd think there'd be a big number, and there were a lot of people there. Yeah. So yes, the vibe was, it resonates around the country when it's Travers Day at Saratoga. So I would think, any simulcast room you might go to. I was talking to my friend at Canterbury Park, and there's a lot of people here today. So I think that plays. That plays everywhere, whether it's here at Saratoga and they pack them, or it's at the simulcast parlor at X Track. I just think being Travers Day, the card that was put on that day with the 7 grade ones, I think the attendance everywhere was boosted a little bit.
I will also tip my cap to you for folks who may not have been watching Gulfstream last week. It was Sunday, I think. You were in over the weekend filling in for Ron, but on Sunday tossed out a winning Rainbow Six ticket to the
Yes, thank you. $57.60 ticket, and I think it came back like $1,400 or something like that.
I keep saying those consolations, if you can do that, put together a ticket in that $40 to $60 range and walk away with $1,200 or $1,500.
You and I have said that for years, so it hasn't really transferred over to here. 4 out of 5 every day. They pick 5 and stuff.
I have treaded water a little bit myself. I had some good days. I haven't had a knock it out of the park day, but we have one more day to put it together. Going back to the weekend, what you think of Max Player?
I thought he was really good. He's never been a horse I've thought much of, to be quite frank with you. I thought maybe his win was slop aided down at Belmont, but I think now we know that that wasn't the case. And I think what the win was aided by was the change of tactics to put him in the race early.
And Steve Asmussen afterwards said in the winner's circle they had really worked on him getting out of the gate, and that proved to be fruitful on Saturday.
I mean, listen, this was an okay fringe 3-year-old. I believe he was, someone had to be third in the Travers, so that's not nothing to sneeze at. And Linda Rice did a good job for him. I think he won the Withers at 3 to kind of get on the Derby trail for a little bit. And what Steve has done, this is one of 57 reasons why Steve Asmussen's in the Hall of Fame. He's a phenomenal, trainer, horse guy. And he's elevated the game of Max Player to now he's 10-1 in the $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic. And if you'd said that to me in March, you'd have me committed. So it's just a hell of a job by a guy that's having a hell of a summer up here. I mean, it's remarkable what he's done up here. And I think it shows the versatility of Steve as well, because, all right, yeah, we know he's great with 2-year-olds, and we know he's great with sprinters and all that kind of stuff. Sure, the Jackie's Warriors, and we saw it yesterday with Zulu Alpha and the job he does with 2-year-olds. Yeah, we know all that, but now here he is cultivating an okay... Echo Zulu. Thank you. I knew it was. Thank you. And now here he is cultivating, an okay 3-year-old. That was all right. Yeah. And now he's brought him to the fore of the handicap division. And listen, a handicap division that is there for the taking. Yeah. No one's guaranteeing Nick Sco's getting 10 furlongs at Del Mar. Maxfield's kind of come off the bridle a little bit when the competition has stepped up, and Steve's going to bring a horse that's a legitimate 8-10-1 to the Breeders' Cup Classic at a distance we know he loves. Now he's got tactical speed that's very important over the Del Mar racetrack. You're going to be surprised if you wake up on November 7th, Sunday morning, and that's the headline?
Yeah, no.
Max Player wins the Breeders' Cup Classic? I don't think so anymore.
No question about it.
What did he run? I saw you got the numbers there. Did he? See if we
I'm
can
not sure
pull
if
that
I
up.
have 102.
All right,
102.
so that's got to improve a little bit, but hey, he's got 2 months to work with. Again, one of the 57 reasons he's in the Hall of Fame is because he knows how to bring a horse to the most important race of his life in the best condition of
just
his
looking,
life.
he came off of 101 in the Suburban, so he stepped it up a point, and they're looking to work into the and Andy Serling was talking about it, talking horses, or maybe in the afternoon, talking about switching things up. with the Jockey Club Gold Cup in the Woodward, and he made the great point. I mean, and we've talked about it. Anthony Mormino got onto it a few years ago. The Saratoga is now becoming the launching point for
Anthony
the Breeders'
was
Cup.
ahead of
So
the
you
curve, yeah.
put a 1.25 mile race up here. The timing is going to work out for these guys. The 1.125 miles down at Belmont is maybe going to work out for those folks who want that kind of spacing, and then you're moving from the 1.8 miles to a 1.25 miles and a little closer time. So it made sense to maybe get some stronger fields in both races heading to the Breeders' Cup.
And just off the top of my head, strictly for Max Player, he wins a Suburban, which is obviously July 4th weekend. Well, this is now Labor Day weekend. Yeah. There's 2 months. Del Mar, the first weekend in November, there's 2 months. So the spacing's got to be ideal, and certainly I'm sure Steve, planned this out accordingly. In the perfect world, it would work that way. And I think right now he's halfway home to the perfect world. It's worked to a plum so far, and yeah, he's done it. I feel like that was a great ending to yesterday. I mean, he could win the hopeful today. So
grade 1 on Saturday, grade 1 on Sunday. Echo Zulu lived up to her. Every summer at Saratoga, we always look forward to the 2-year-olds, and there was always a couple, 3 maybe wow performances, and Echo Zulu at the beginning of the meet was one of those, and she validated that yesterday, really with another wow performance. 22 and change, 44 and change, 109, and then kind of powers away in the stretch to win by a chart margin of 4 and 122 and change. That was a good-looking performance from a nice-looking 2-year-old filly from Asmussen.
Yeah, and she's going to take the Jackie's Warrior approach to the Breeders' Cup. Now, you remember Jackie's Warrior was awesome up here last year, and this year for that matter. And then he went down to Belmont and he won the Champagne, and then he tried the 2 turns at Keeneland, didn't really work out. Not saying it's not going to work out for her, because she's awesome too. But my point is that she's going to follow that similar path, being a 2-year-old filly. She's going to run in the 1-turn mile for Zet at Belmont in the hopes of getting to the Breeders' Cup. And that's 1 furlong, farther than they went yesterday. And she could have ran around another furlong. They weren't reeling her in. So she's really good. She's really fast, and she's exciting too. And it's always cool to see those hot shot debut winners that, just run off and just beat inferior horses and just to come back and show that that was just the tip of the iceberg with her.
So again, Asmussen, a big closing weekend, has a chance to maybe add to that this afternoon as well. And I'll remind people, because and thanks to everybody all season long, just the content we've had on, and people have mentioned you and Anthony as well, and Steve Bick and I on Sunday mornings. They mentioned Steve's name, but a lot of great feedback over on the front side. That's always what's fun about Saratoga. Our TV audience is all right over there on the front side, so there's been a lot of great feedback. But the past 2 days, the Asmussen interview that I taped right here on Thursday, but we aired Saturday morning, Jockey Club Gold Cup Day morning. But we had 35 minutes with Steve Asmussen, and it was really. I appreciated it. I talked to him yesterday, and I said, I got a lot of great feedback. And he said, yeah, it was fun. The questions were a little bit different, and I got a chance to talk about some different subjects and whatnot. And so he had some fun over here. If you haven't seen it, go to the Capital TV YouTube channel, Racing Across America, from this past Saturday, the Steve Asmussen interview. We're checking out. And he talks Max Player, and he talks Echo Zulu and more, but we were also talking about, I had a couple people comment saying, I didn't know he was a jockey, and we talked a little bit about his jockey days. I asked Richard Migliori, because he was in yesterday as the guest handicapper on the Handicappers Report, and I said, the timeline probably works out. You guys must have overlapped. He said, oh yeah, I remember, and I knew his older brother Cash. Yeah. And Cash said, hey, kind of look out for my younger brother, and Migliori remembers, yeah, he didn't have a driver's license, so I'd have to drive him over to the Meadowlands at night. So.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, just that he came over here is awesome, I think, and to give you the time that he did, and listen, I've said this, when I did the Saturday show, and I think you probably felt that a little bit this summer. It's just hard for people to come over here on a grade 1 Saturday and sit here live on TV. So, we've been able to, the last few years, I think, for better or worse, COVID kind of introduced it. We had to go outside the norm, or maybe our comfort level a little bit last year, and just for Steve to come over here on Thursday, as his morning is ending and he's getting ready to get into the afternoon, and heck, he hung out there for 15 minutes as well and just talked shop.
Telling great stories out there.
And then he pops on gives you 35 minutes. And, you know, people watching are probably like, oh, here he goes again, thanking everybody. But we have to thank those people because it's just so hard for people to make the time to come over here. You know, you don't understand what goes into their day. And when they say no, you understand it. So
any day, really. I had Norm Cassian, who's got a small operation now, but we talked about it, and I'm glad we did, because at least once a meet, I like to bring this up. People don't think of it. They think trainers, you're out there, you're training horses. These guys run small businesses. And when you're Asmussen or Pletcher or Chad Brown with the number of horses they have and employees, Norm said it with his operation. You know, I didn't kind of realize when I started the money management that's involved and keeping the books, and I got to go back to my barn and open up Quicken Books and do all of that. So for these big outfits, it's even more. So for any of these guys to make the time, always really appreciate it.
I mean, Steve's got a division at Monmouth. Now he's got a division at Kentucky Downs, obviously in the Midwest where, you know, he's from. He's got horses everywhere. And I saw he brought a horse up. It might be today. I was working at Louisiana Downs. So, yeah, just you have to say a big hearty thanks to everybody that does that, because it's easier said than done. And, you know, I texted a lot of people this summer, first with Brad Cox, and I sent a text to Cherie DeVoe, Norm as well. A lot of people, Jack's sister said, they were with what was going on in Kentucky, where Churchill basically said, you got to get out while we rebuild this turf course. A lot of trainers were shuttling back and forth between Lexington or the training center or Ellis Park, for that matter, because, you know, they're there. Rob Atras told me, I think you interviewed Rob and his wife Brittany, hey, we go to Belmont 3 days a week. You know, it's just, it's not, people aren't just sitting here training horses and hanging out. You know, there's so much more going on.
People also don't realize that 2 days a week there's turf workouts over at the Oklahoma, and they run a little bit later, which kind of overlaps with our show. So to get those trainers is tough, because they'll call them up and I'd love to come over, but I got 3 horses that are going to kind of be working during that hour. So always appreciate it. Before we get into the handicapping, just want to set up the day and the standings. Luis Saez 6 ahead of Irad Ortiz. You would have to think with 1 day left. That's pretty much it. Got a little tight this weekend. But Luis Saez, from the get-go, just a super meet. He's at 62. Awesome. Irad Ortiz at 56. Jose Ortiz at 51. Rosario 43. Cathleon 33. On the trainer side, again, that's also pretty much a done deal. It is a done deal. 40 wins for Chad Brown. Todd Pletcher 30. Mike Maker 24. Steve Asmussen 18. And Christophe Clement was 16. So Chad Brown and Luis Saez, congratulations on a fabulous Saratoga summer. And the other guys I mentioned also had very good summers as well. These guys topped the standings, but they were good Saratoga meets for a number of people.
Yeah, Chad has been in about 6th year now for about 3 weeks, I think. You know, the start of the meet was maybe he didn't win as many races as he wanted to, or
weather played a little.
Weather did play a little bit too, and you know, it's such a fine line, because you look down and Chad's like 17%, and you're like, oh boy, he's having a slow meet. Well, you know, 17% is pretty darn good at Saratoga. But the last 3 to 4 weeks, the barn has just been absolutely on point with everything he's done, and you know, it's a testament to the job. He always says it too. You know, the job his team does, and he's always great when you read the quotes when he wins a stakes or something. And he says, well, you know, the guys and gals did a great job with this horse, because this horse had trouble from the gate or something. We worked on him, and they did. He's always very quick to give credit to the entire operation. And you know, when you're Chad Brown, I would think you're probably only as good as the help, because you know, the amount of horses that he has. He's at Monmouth too. You know, he needs a great team behind him, and it certainly looks like he's got that. And you know, it's an upset when he doesn't win the trainer's title. So I would think it had to feel good. You know, he didn't win it last year, and to now get back on top and just, you know, blow everybody out of the water and win a lot of different races too. So, I mean, it's just keep on keeping on. It's just a great job.
More of it today. We have 12 today. It'll kick off at 12:30. Keep that in mind. A little bit of an earlier post time throughout this closing weekend. But, boy, that was a big crowd. The announced crowd was 36,403. But I guess that T-shirt hoodie was pulling people in, because it was legitimately a big crowd yesterday. I mean, driving into Park, they were piling in, trying to get, you know, the last shot on the weekend. And so you have one more shot today, obviously. Come on up and enjoy the racing, because it looks like it's going to be a great day. So we will, you know, knock wood there, but it looks like it's going to be fabulous weather here for closing day at Saratoga. You ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it. 12 on tap today. Don't forget, as Seth mentioned, 12:35 posts and 12 races. So
Because we are starting with what I have labeled at the top of my page as a tough race. The opener here, Maiden special weight runners, $100,000 up for grabs. 3-year-olds and up. They're going to go 7 furlongs, and as they say, a little bit of a skull buster for me.
yeah, it's a tough race because I don't really think, this looks like a great group of gals that are going to break, someone's going to break their maiden, right? I mean, there's some okay, but you're seeing, low 60s here if you're, on the buyer scale. And so I'm taking a shot. I just find I think it's interesting that Tom Aldotrani is going to run on Perfect 2 in here. And it tells me she's a New York bred. This is not a New York bred race, okay? So it tells me a couple things. It tells me she's really doing well. You know darn well they're going to run this race next weekend at Belmont Park, or very soon, okay? And Tom wants to take a swing for $100,000, and who the heck can blame him? And this gal ran really good on debut. I mean, she totally kind of didn't break at all. She's 18 lengths behind. She comes flying late. Did it fall apart? It might have. But when Tom Aldotrani has a horse run second on debut, you better take notice, because this is a barn that doesn't win with first-time starters. It's a barn that takes the more patient approach. I thought she ran really, really good, and I don't think she's got to run a whole heck of a lot better to play with this group, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot in here. I went to 7 under the same kind of angle. Someday Magic is a first-time starter for Bill Mott, and I don't think that's a bad thing in a race like this. I mean, we've seen what a lot of these horses can do, and it's not a lot right now, at least. Big City Mama, you've got her on top, so you could talk about her, but, she hasn't done any running in 2 starts. She's been facing good fields, don't get me wrong. She's been beaten 14 lengths at both starts. So, Someday Magic with a slew of works for Bill Mott, and here's John Velasquez for, Kinsman, George Steinbrenner's stable. Rest in peace, George. You would think this horse is okay. Now, a lot of pedigree here, but a nice outside attack post. And Seth, I don't think you have to be a superstar to be a first-time starter and play with a group like this. So 4.76 for me.
I looked at that when I didn't use it. Ultimately, looked up some of the breeding and whatnot, and there wasn't any real negative or anything. There just wasn't anything that pulled me in that direction. But you've got I'm Perfect 2 with the 1 start. I have Big City Mama with 2 starts. At least they maybe also, like a first-time starter, are a little bit more unknown with a little upside potential we can rely on. Because I think otherwise this is really kind of an evenly matched, and as you kind of alluded to, mediocre bunch.
Yeah, and I didn't even talk about the equal pay. What do you do with her? She was going to win on debut, and that unfortunate incident where I don't know if she shied or what exactly happened. She stumbled and then tossed the jock. Last time at 6-5, she's just nowhere.
Yeah, and it was a muddy sealed track. Maybe that played against her. I put her down at the bottom of the mix. We'll see. Interesting to see where the betting public goes, because David Aragona made that one the 2-1 favorite. But I went with Big City Mama. Luis Saez jumps on board today. We'll see if he can wind up the meet in fine fashion. Yeah, I don't use this horse with a lot of confidence. It is a tepid selection. Munlove has had plenty of opportunities, hasn't gotten it done. But this one on the best effort, that number 2 back is good enough to get it done in this field, you would have to think. So, again, this is a horse that has had plenty of opportunity, hasn't gotten it done, but a better effort matches nicely with this crew. I'm Perfect 2, as you talked about, and again, being lightly raced, maybe some upside potential. So for me, a tough race to start, but I have it 6-3, 4-1.
Well, here's another toughie, right? To kick off the early pick 4, race 2 is a state-bred special weight 2-year-old fillies, 5.5 on the main. I would say if you're getting involved in this early pick 5 and this early pick 4, it's imperative you check the tote board here, check the double wheel pace from race 1 to race 2, because this seems problematic to me.
1 entry, 4, 3, and 7 for me. Carbon is a first-time starter. Adversity, a second-time starter. I think they both have a little bit of breeding. Carbon has a sibling that was 8th in debut, but then ran 2nd, and then in the 3rd and 4th starts, they were both wins. So again, I thought there was a little bit of win early breeding there. Adversity, this one's a sibling to Chestertown. That one was 3rd in debut, and won the 2nd career start. 10.0 was the workout before the April sale, attracted a decent amount of money. There's another sibling called Teetotaler, 8th, then 2nd, then a couple of wins in the 3rd and 4th starts. So again, there was a little bit from on the breeding side from both halves of the entry. So I tilt slightly in that direction. Belarus in the 2nd spot. Sky Mace is a kind of a sneaky. You go back a few years, he wasn't sneaky. Now he's maybe a little more sneaky on the win early side of things. 26 first-time starters this year, 3 wins, a couple of seconds, and a third. There's a sibling called Amundsen. Currently, I think has raced a couple times at the meet, perhaps. Yeah, 8th in debut and won the second career start. So some win early there. Trainer Horatio DePaz can have him ready. Third spot. We'll take a little bit of a shot with the Honorable Ruth at 12-1 on the morning line. Comes in from Finger Lakes for Ray Handel, or first started at the Finger Lakes at Ray Handel, based on the Naira circuit, but they shipped out to the Finger Lakes. I thought it was a decent little debut, maybe to build on. The numbers a little bit light, but I don't know what we're going to see otherwise from this field. And again, being from the Finger Lakes in that debut effort, I think the morning line may hold up. And experience counts, so I'll tilt in that direction to find a little value in the mix. The 1 entry, 4, 3, and 7.
I just thought it was a tough race. 7, 6, 8, 4, 1 for me. So I'm taking all the spots on the one sheet. I'll update that for the website and scratches. It's up there already. I saw we tweeted it out. Jorge Abreu is 26-27% with first-time starters. He popped with one yesterday. Call sign Charlie. Plenty of works here. A couple of them they stand out to me. August 6th being maybe the most noteworthy, and he just does a great job getting first-time starters to fire their best shot. And I think from this outside ideal attack post, I'm gonna go call sign Charlie.
And if you like that firster from him yesterday, you got the worst of it on the odds because he was coupled with the Chad Brown.
Right, exactly. And the Chad horse didn't fire yesterday, so you're right. I don't really. When they ask me to run the racetrack, that's one of the first things I'm getting rid of, coupled entries.
Except then we had the situation a couple of weeks ago in the stakes race where the half of the entry went out, and half of the uncoupled entry went out and dueled with Rinaldi. And I had a couple of people make the remark to me that's it's kind of unfair to the bettor because you don't know exactly how they're going to play that. I see that argument. I also see the racetrack and trying to get more betting and entry.
I feel like that's. I feel like at Saratoga, and this is one of the reasons why I want uncoupled entries, that argument doesn't. People just know they're smart here. They know how to handicap racing. That's buyer beware to me. They get that.
When they started to uncouple entries, that's what I said could be the downfall, though. I said there would be those situations where you don't know and the rabbit goes out and it hurts the bettors. And I think that was maybe a little bit of an example of that. But I will say it's wildly unusual.
All right. Well, the last time that happened was when they did that to St. Liam in the Woodward or whenever it was. So I mean, I just feel like that's like a once in 10 year. Rabbits aren't things anymore. And we don't have to worry about any chicanery at Saratoga Race Course. You want to talk about, I'm not even going to name any tracks, but you want to talk about smaller tracks in smaller locales where, you could have to maybe worry about that I'll entertain that argument. I'm not worrying about that here at Saratoga Race Course. So anywho, back to 6 Carrigate in second, the proven runner for Mitch Friedman, a pretty decent run on debut. Sue Michigan didn't fire yesterday in the spin-away, but that was as much because the Steve Source ran off the screen as anything else. And then check the tote on Kisses for Emily. David's got her at 3s on the line. David does a great job. John Toscano, they paid $125 for a daughter of Union Jackson, who stands for $2,500. So I got to believe this gal looks all right. Hey, do me a favor. Tell everybody where you're getting these workouts, because I know you're big on that. You like to quote them. You like to look them up. Where do you find that stuff?
It's pretty easy. If it's an Ocala workout, you pull up the OBS website, type in OBS Ocala into Google, and you pull it up. Then you just go to that particular sale, and they have them all listed chronologically. And in the results, the workout is listed right in the results. The price that was paid for the horse, who it went to, but the workout. And there's the videos right there, too. There's a little icon that you can watch the video of the workouts as well. So Ocala, you go there. If you see EAS May, that's a FASIC sale, FASIC Tipton. Type in FASIC Tipton in Google. Same idea. Pull up the results from that sale, and the workout time is right there. All right. You finished, right?
I'm all done. I have nothing more to say.
I didn't want to stop. But
on that 9-minute race too we just had.
I will jump in now. Stakes action. Kicking off the stakes action on closing day. Another really evenly matched field. It's the Bernard Baruch Grade 2 event. $200,000 up for grabs. 8.5 furlongs on the grass. And I will say, I just pulled up Mark Hennig, trusted tweeter of turf situations, and he says everything is on the turf today.
I think it's evenly matched, but there's one horse that might be, going up with a bullet, and we both have him on top. And 3-5-1 for me, and Chad's going to comfortably win this training title. We might wake up at 7:30, and he's going to be a lot more comfortable because he might win about 5 races today. He's loaded for bear today. He's literally live in every race. He's going to have favorites in several of them. I think he's got 6. He's in 6 races today. And L'Imperator, this is just a great job by the barn because this horse came over last year right here at Saratoga and was 5-2 in the Saranac, and something didn't work out. Soft turf, maybe he got a little nicked up that day. I don't know what happened, but he didn't run, certainly like I would assume his connections thought, certainly the betting public thought. And, as great as Chad is with everything he does, I think getting horses to come back off extended absences and fire all-time best shots is right at the top of his, what he does best list, and this horse did it. Awesome earlier in the meet. The spacing's fine here. If he runs back to that race, he might win. And how do you think he doesn't just move forward off that race? He's only run 6 times. The rest of these, listen, as you alluded to, Seth, this is a very evenly matched, solid group, but we know what everybody else in here can do. I don't think we know what L'Imperator can do. And if he moves forward, I know Lasix comes off today. Maybe that's you never necessarily know about that, but he certainly won 3 races in France without it. I think he's heck to pay in here, Seth, and I would expect an even better performance, and they won't catch him today, I don't think.
But tell your daddy, if he runs back to that one, don't you think he's in the mix?
I think if he can get loose, he is. But I kind of think he was just dragged along by Flavius's, slow
the number
pace.
Does kind of stand out to maybe say that's true. But I also looked at it as, the move up to Saratoga, maybe there's a little wake up, but you may be right. But I have that one, the Chad runner over Tell Your Daddy, and then Dreams of Tomorrow in the 3rd spot. This horse, as compared to the top 2, probably does have to step it up a little bit. But I have a 3, 1, 5, and 2.
Okay, race 4 here. It is a open $20,000 claimer. Fillies and mares, 3 and up, 6 furlongs. I have my best bet of the day in here, Seth, but boy, you could probably go about 6 different ways in this spot.
I went 6, 2, 7, and 4. I put Frills on top, off the claim. I kind of like a little confident move up. The trainer's very good off the claim. And as I say, they picked up the claim for 12. At the end of the meet, I want to get a rundown of the claim box because they talk about it in the wintertime the past few years. The claim box down at Oaklawn is nuclear. It's on fire at the end of the meet. Crazy claims, but the claim box has been crazy up here at Saratoga as well, and a lot of shakes and whatnot. So again, I'd love to hear what the results are at the end of the season. But this one claimed for 12.5. Again, good first off the claim barn, and I like the confident move up off the claim. My Roxy Girl glass move here. This one I think is finding a little relief that could provide a tonic to move that one forward, and then Sweet Mia in the 3rd spot. Just missed last time, claimed for 25 at Belmont. They come back for 20 today. This horse has a little early speed from the outside, so 6, 2, 7, and 4 for me.
I'm with you. My play of the day is a 6, Frills. Perfect outside attack post. A lot of speed in this race, but at least she draws outside of it. She does have Sweet Mia to her outside too, but as you alluded to, the Cantamashi barn is 21% off the claim and has had a great meet spotting these kind of horses in spots where they can win and run their best, and I think Frills is in a good spot here today as the outside pressing speed. Number 7, Sweet Mia, is out there as well, and I just think it's beneficial to be outside the other speed. And then number 4, Extra Effort, conversely, I think takes all the worst of it, is probably the inside speed, getting pressed the whole way. I will say this, nobody's making up a lot of ground on this main track.
Our top pick owned in partnership, part of the partnership, America's Pastime Racing. I had a couple of the principals from that group in the other day, and later that day they won a race. And this race, check out their silks, America's Pastime, and they have the baseball on the silks. Kind of a fun logo there. So again, we always like to wish the locals good luck. So they're part of that. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, continue with the Labor Day, the closing day card at Saratoga. Stay tuned.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the capital region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome to the Handicapper Report. Hard to believe it is September 6th, closing day. But
Not a complaint, though, by the way.
well, I am a little maybe at the end of my rope as well. It's always bittersweet, but I will be sleeping in tomorrow, no question about it. Fifth race this afternoon at Saratoga. Maiden specials. These are, again, 3-year-olds and up on the grass, mile and 16.
And I love how they've done this the past few years. They sneak in another pick 5 here. Everything's mandatory today. Everything must go.
No.
Carryovers or anything like that. 6-3, 4-8, and I hinted that I think Chad's going to have a day here. You can put a little exclamation point on this trainer's title, and he looks like he's in a good spot here. I got him 1-2. Realm of Law is kind of been maybe stuck in neutral a little bit. 4 starts. But I thought he ran okay last time with maybe a little less than ideal trip, and he's got a pretty trustworthy body of work, and he's a Juddmonte homebred with a big-time pedigree, so I'm going to try to get him to break through today. Conglomerate's the wild card. He hasn't run since last year, but again, as I alluded to with L'Imperatore and the Baruch, Chad is as good as better than anyone in the country of getting horses to come back off an extended layoff and run their best race. Conglomerate hasn't been out for 368 days. He returns as a first-time gelding. I think the fact he's in this race on closing day with a stablemate says to me he's going to fire a big shot. If you look at that debut, that's the type of shot that would win this race. Aban in third for Todd. A much better post, and I thought he ran very, very well in his turf debut. In for 75 last time. Todd did this last week with a horse that he's really good at rising these horses up in class and knowing when they can fit. That race is not out of the realm of these maiden special weights here today.
I flipped up the Chad. I put Realm of the Law down in my last spot, 3, 4, 8, and 6. I may regret that, but I thought between the two Chads, I'd take a pop at the Conglomerate, who, again, in the career debut ran pretty well. The follow-up I thought was okay, but then went to the sidelines and now comes back first-time gelding. It's Chad, it's Klarovich, who have had another great meet up here. So I'm going to tilt in that direction, go with the other Chad, the longer priced of the uncoupled entry. Then I went with a bond underneath the Pletcher horse. The last race was very good. I'm kind of hanging my hat on that a little bit on the turf. up here at Saratoga. It was, however, against Maiden Claimers as opposed to Maiden Specials. So we'll see what this horse can do in with this company this afternoon. And then Luis Saez lines up on American Law on the outside for Danny Gargan. This one ran well here at Saratoga as well. And so that, like a Bond, first time on turf, first time up at Saratoga, and put in a pretty good effort that I think signals this one is playable as well. A Bond did it again in Maiden Claiming Company. This one did it with Maiden Special. So put that one in, and then Realm of Law. I'm interested to see now if I messed up, made a mistake with Realm of Law. But I think all four of these have things you can point at and have some level of confidence, or less than confidence. Yeah, exactly. 3, 4, 8, and 6 for me.
All right, race 6 here. We're not yet to the late horizontals. Race 6 is kind of a tweener here. It's a 2L, fillies and mares 3 and up. Mile and 16th on the melon.
6, 8, 11, and 10. I put Ocean Air on top for Christophe Clement. Steps out of Starter Allowance Company. Decent little third against that type last time behind an next-out winner. So I thought the horse was certainly playable in here. Has some talent. Luis Saez on board. Should fit really nicely with this group. Linny Kate in the second spot. Comes up from Monmouth in the last start for Chad Brown. Drops in for a tag. Hasn't run for a tag in the career. Was in an optional claiming race down at Gulfstream earlier this year, but was not in for the tag. Comes out of Allowance Company. Again, I think with the class move for this one, you have to put that one in your sights as well. And not thrilled about the outside post positions for my next two, but I think perhaps tonight also making a class move for Grand Motion into the claiming ranks, maybe enough to put this one in the conversation as well. So 6, 8, 11, and 10.
Yeah, I just swapped them. That's all, and I think we're on the right two horses here. I will mention, as I was looking down as you were talking, the horse I meant to, I couldn't come up with a name, Kitten by the Sea, is the horse Todd was able to move up right up the class ladder. 2 L's to Starter Allowance, and she won a 1X last time. So that was the one, and you see Ocean Air lost to her last time. Linny Kate on the drop for Chad. I think they're the 2 in here, and then we've got the 11. Little problematic post facing a little better this time as well. But yeah, I go 8, 6, 11.
Race number 7 this afternoon at Saratoga. This one a Maiden Special weight event for the 2-year-olds. 3/4 of a mile is the trip.
And here's your pick 6, okay? And they're going to have a big pool today. Not that there's a carryover, but with the mandatory payout in that pick 6, and it's been about 500 grand on Saturdays, and I would think it's going to be somewhere in there today as well. Again, people like when they have to pay pools out closing day, obviously, as well. 10, 6, 5, 4, 2 for me. Check the tote board here if you're getting involved. There's a slew of first-time starters in here, and you want to see them live and taking money if you're going to get involved. I went outside to Steve Asmussen with Pine Valley. This horse figures to have speed. The dam is a half the Cherokee artist who earned over $900,000. There's some nice prospects in this race. I'm sure you did the work too, Seth. There's not a lot of pedigree power in this race. So I think you got to earn this one the hard way, and you got to figure it out. Maybe check out the workout reports or see, again, who's alive on the tote. Steve is just dynamite with these first-time starters, and he brings horses up here that can fire. Jack Hahn for Brad Cox and Zilla Racing. I've got this one in second. Solid but unspectacular works. Manny Franco riding, and no disrespect to Manny, but the Brad typically goes with Saez or maybe somebody else. So I thought that was interesting. If nothing else, forced ranking for Chad and Seth Klarman. Here's Luis Saez. I think it's awesome that he's getting. He rode a winner for Chad. I think it was last week. It might have been about 10 days ago. He's 1 for 3 riding for Chad Brown up here. It's remarkable, and it's one of the reasons I love Luis Saez, because he's not necessarily riding for all these top barns. It's a tough race, Seth. I mean, the 4 don't wait up. Huge second on debut for Tony D from a bad post and a bad break. Todd's got one down inside for Mike Rapoli. Matt Doyle's been working bullets for Chad Summers. Tough race.
And you talk about Louis and what a great summer, and we always got to toss into the conversation as we did all summer long, Kieran McLaughlin.
Absolutely.
You talk about a career transition. He goes from one of the top trainers in the world to getting Luis Saez and handling his book. Should have had him in to talk a little bit about it this summer. Next summer we'll definitely put that on the guest list, though. But I have a 5, 2, 4, and 10. I put forced ranking on top. Chad, it's Klarovich, it's Luis Saez. Sibling for this one called Soothsaying that won its career debut. So there's a little bit of win early there, perhaps. And when I can get into these races and there's a little bit of win early breeding with win early connections, you put those two together, I'll tilt in that direction. I'd be happy to accept the 5-1 price if we get that. Todd Pletcher has Command Performance. There's a sibling called Under a Spell, second in debut, won the second career start. Union Regs is okay with first-time starters. 14 exacta finishes out of 69 first-time starters this year, and 11 thirds. So you look in the money, the percentage is very good for Command Performance's sire. Don't Wait Up, experience counts. The Tony Dutrow horse probably takes the action off of that career debut near miss, and as I say, experience does count. So I'll look at that one. Pine Valley, who you mentioned, it's the first foal, but you kind of alluded to it. If you look at the auction page, there's a lot of black type down the auction page. So this is the first foal. You can't look up siblings, obviously, but there's enough on the page to think there's some decent bloodlines. We're at 10.2 before that March sale. A horse I did put in my mix, but at 12-1 on the morning line with some good workouts. Matt Doyle, because I really like Violence as a sire of first-time starters, and the workouts seem to indicate this horse may come out running. You're looking at 12-1. I'm gonna, if that holds up, and I think it may, I'm gonna play around a little bit with Matt Doyle in here as well. But I have it 5, 2, 4, and 10.
All right, let's sneak one more in here before the break. Here, this is the late pick 5, mandatory pick 5, and this is another beast. It's especially 2-year-old fillies going a mile and a 16th on the inner.
I have it 6, 2, 7, and 5, and Frankel with runners over here in the United States has been pretty good. Limited first-time starters over here, but this year, but it's been very good over here, and we all know Frankel. But so there's a little bit of breeding here, obviously, to hang your hat on, or maybe a lot of breeding. Todd Pletcher, Bobby Flay, interesting connections, and so I'll put Old School on top. Consumer spending from the aforementioned Chad Brown and Klarovich. Win early connections, did not get it done in the career debut, finishing behind a horse that was sired by Frankel, in fact, in McCulloch in the career debut. But it was a good-looking debut, and again, experience counts. These are win early connections. That horse very, very dangerous, obviously. And Silvery Rill in the third spot for me, another one where experience counts. Beaten favorite in the debut, just beaten, so has to be considered today. 6, 2, 7, and 5 for me.
The dam of your top pick, Old School, the dam, Old Alliance, is a half-sister to Golan, who won the King George back in the day. So that horse firmly in my mix. 4, 2, 7, the actual order. 3, 6 as well for the 1-cheat purposes. Dance for Gold, I'm master of the obvious here. Brew Firster, we already talked about. He's about 27% now. Slew of Works here, his main guy. Jose Lescano is aboard. Consumer spending's down inside for Chad and Seth Klarman. A good solid second on debut. The winner that day, McCulloch, was very, very good for Chad that day, so I think that's a big second. Silvery Rill's got the experience as well. Is going to need to run faster, but she was fine on debut as well. Tough race. Check the double will pays, the tote action if you're getting involved in the pick 6/pick 5.
We will head to another break. When we come back, we'll complete our look at Saratoga for the Labor Day closing day card. Also, the DePaula play of the day coming up. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the West. I'm Scott Varley at Saratoga's latest and greatest high-rise luxury condo. Starting in the mid-5s, every condo here has 2 bedrooms and 2 baths and upgrades just like this. Check out these oversized private balconies. We also have a gym, a private lounge, and get this, a heated parking garage. To make a reservation for your private condo at the West, call or text me. I'm Scott Varley at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Come on!
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops.
My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Closing day here at Saratoga. Get in your last licks. It's the get-out situation. Let's see if we can all make some money. And we will kick in with late pick 4 action. The 9th race at Saratoga. State-bred optional claimers. Non-winners are 2 other than 6.5 furlongs to the trip.
2-7-9-8 for me. Miss Jimmy has been second up here before. Comes in off an extended layoff for Bruce Anderson. But listen, I mean, they're going to run this race at Finger Lakes quite a bit for this gal, and he ships her down I-90, and she's got big form in her, you know, when she was last seen, numbers that can win this. Certainly looks like she's working up a storm. I don't necessarily love the rail, but she's tactical enough to hopefully work out a trip. Betsy Blue, I'll let you talk about her. You've got her on top. She's certainly an A to me. And then Beautiful Karen, outside pressing, attacking post isn't the bad thing either. 2-7-9-8, as you mentioned, last pick 4 of 2021 at Saratoga.
I went 7, 6, 9, and 5. The 8 just missed my mix, so I'm not going to argue anybody off of that one, but I put Betsy Blue on top. How do you argue with this? 8 times in the money with 7 exacta finishes and 8 career starts. Seems to be in some good form up here at Saratoga as well. Has been knocking on the door. Buyers are moving in the right direction, so I'll tilt there. Awesome Debate has some nice positional early speed. Tried Stakes Company here last time and tried it successfully. So now drops in for the 45 tag. But they claimed the horse at the beginning of the meet for 45. Subsequently won that stakes race. So it was a clever situation. Luis Saez on board again today. Beautiful Karen in the 3rd spot. Some improving numbers also. And Ruby's in Time, I will mention, stepping out of Allowance Company is also a player with maybe some early speed. Hasn't shown it in the last couple, however, but again, makes the bottom of my mix. 7, 6, 9, and 5.
All right, here we go with the hopeful. I love this race, and this could be a throwdown today. Grade 1 for 2-year-olds, going 7 with the awesome Wit and the more awesome, at least last time, High Oak. And this is a battle to me, Seth.
I am really looking forward to it. We had Lee Einseidler on, Steve Bick and I on Sunday morning after High Oak had won the Saratoga Special, and Lee was high on the horse, and at that time he was saying, I'm going to head out to the Champagne. And subsequently, he winds up here reading in the Daily Racing Forum, and then I stopped at Lee's box yesterday and I was talking to him. I said, what's the story? He said, the horse is just, we had the race though, the horse is, on fire in the barn, and it's just ready to run. So they're coming back, and as you say, that performance in the Saratoga Special tagged High Oak as a very good horse. Lee and Bill Mott, I know, are high on him, and he validated it with the big win in the Saratoga Special. So I'm going to use him. But yeah, what we saw from Wit, also super impressive. So you had 2 really, really impressive 2-year-olds so far up here in the meet, coming out of the first 2-year-old stakes in the series up here. It's just going to be fun to see these 2 throw it down, and hopefully that's the way it works out in the stretch. But I tilted towards High Oak. I was impressed with the Saratoga Special, and I kind of find it intriguing that they just said, we got to get this one out on the racetrack again. Gunite for Steve Asmussen. Asmussen coming off the 2nd place finish behind High Oak last time. I think this is a talented runner as well, but I'm looking forward to High Oak and Wit this afternoon. And as I say, I hope it plays out down the stretch, but I have it 8, 6, 3, and 10.
I love High Oak in here. And Lee texted me and he said, we're changing tactics, and we're running the hopeful. And just I had him in the Saratoga Special, and Lee actually texted me about this horse prior to his debut, so I've kind of been in the loop, so to speak.
I saw Lee right before this race, and he said, I really like my horse, and I don't know if I had it at the bottom of the mix or what, but I went to the window. I looked up at the odds board, and I thought, okay, I'm putting it in.
And then when I saw him, because he closed on debut at Belmont, and when I saw the fractions, and when I saw him where he was on the far turn, and he just basically dragged Junior Alvarado up there, I said, wow, these other horses are in serious trouble. And so now fast forward to today, Wit has been nothing short of awesome in 2 starts for Todd Pletcher. High Oak has a tremendous edge on him in that he's got so much more tactical speed. And, Lee didn't tell me this, But you know Bill Mott, and you know the plan wasn't to run here. This horse has got to be tearing the barn down. So I love him in here today. Wit in second. I've got the 9 for our friend Tom Amos, Kevin's Folly in third, because I think maybe he gets run off his feet and can pass a little bit. Listen, Gun Knight is probably loose in here. He's clearly the speed of the speed. This track has been a highway the past few days. I'm going to put him in as some backups. I don't have him in my mix, but just seeing racing and looking at the rest of these horses, he is going to make the front, and he might make it comfortably. Horses have been getting very brave the last few days.
All right, we turn the page. 2 more races at Saratoga for 2021. Race number 11 kicking off the final double. An allowance, $103,000 up for grabs for non-winners and one other than a mile on the grass.
4-2-7-3. Ghost Giant off the claim for Rob Atras, and the pink and yellow go on today. Mike Dubb and is 3 for 5 going a mile. So I think that bodes well. Number 2, King Cause down inside for Mike Maker. Hasn't been out since last August right here at Saratoga. Tread lightly there. Lahara, another one of these heavy hitters for Chad today. Big chance here as well. And number 3, Atone in the mix too.
I put Atone on top. I have a 3, 7, 12, and 6. The 2 player for me. I wasn't sure what to do off the layoff there, though. But Atone on top. King Cause off the layoff. 3-1 on the morning line. Is that the horse the favorite? Yeah, morning line favorite. But off the layoff, I'm going for the other Mike Maker then at 8-1 with Luis Saez on board. This one clearly has some more recency. Out at Arlington, 2 starts back, ran decently, came here to Saratoga, showed some speed before fading. So that last race wasn't much to get excited about. I'm going to look at that one as maybe one to move forward and build from. And again, Luis Saez jumps on board. Second spot, Lahara, fairly lightly raced for Chad Brown and looks to be a player in here in the second start of the season. And then Click-a-Tat in the third spot. Gets hung outside. That's not going to be a bonus. But I thought off the win 2 back and then the decent try last time right up here at Saratoga, this horse could be playable as well. Again, a little bit of value at the 6-1 morning line. So for me, 3, 7, 12, and 6.
And it all comes to an end at 6:42 in the p.m. Labor Day on Monday. Race 12 to State Bred, $40,000 maiden claimer. Fillies and mares 3 and up, 5.5 on a snappy turf course to get it done, Seth.
And at that time of year, about this time yesterday when they were running the finale, it was starting to get dark.
John Embriel actually said it, as darkness sets in at Saratoga.
You know, usually I would call it the gloaming. There was no gloaming yesterday. It was getting dark. I have it 5, 4, 10, and 6. Norman Queen on top. Just maybe one of those fields and one of those races where you can go with a fresh face. And Wesley Ward certainly can have turf sprinters ready, and this one seems to be working well. Debuts for the tag. Maybe that's a concern, but I just think they're looking for the right spot. And again, looking at this particular field, if this horse has any talent, this could be the right spot. Stella Mars in the second spot, been knocking at the door so far. Late spring, early summer, and the early summer start was right up here at Saratoga against similar company, so maybe breaks through this afternoon. And then Orma with Luis Saez on board. Decent little third place finish last time against similar. And I think the Jim Bond runner should be a player with this particular group as well. The finale, race number 12 at Saratoga, 5, 4, 10, and 6.
7, 6, 5, 4. I do not know who James Breeden is. He's 0 for 2 on the year, but if he's going to ship Black Panda in from Keeneland to run at Saratoga on closing day with a couple bullets in the holster, hasn't been out since March, MSW dropper, I would think this gal's ready to run. Put her on top. Number 6, New York Supreme, the best of the proven runners. You mentioned Norman Queen, certainly hits, and Stella Mars as well for our buddy Ray Handel, who's run well of late. I'm done. You stay, so I just wanted to make sure I say thanks to everybody this summer. Obviously, the trainers and the guests that I've had, I've already said too, but, you know, Brian and Mick right here on set, and Dino and Danny back in Albany, and everybody in Albany, John Signor, of course, as well, Shannon and Mike and everybody for you know, been great to me and help me help us get this show on the air every day, 40 days, double duty up here, and thanks to everybody that is such a big part of it that we don't see right here front and center. I know you're going to have John front and center here shortly, but everybody that's behind the scenes doing the great work. you know, putting all these videos, Mick and Brian and stuff, putting all these videos, and then Danny and Dino and Control Central getting it done. So thank you to everybody that's done that.
And I will thank and congratulate you on behalf of the fans. You did a great job, as always, on the Wednesdays and the Thursdays with Anthony Mormino and
Handicapper that was
support
fun.
And
Anthony,
two Racing Across Americas, and so great job there. Kicking off the weeks, and that was fun. It's always fun, as you say. Ready for a little bit of a break? I made my first kind of real bar hopping last Saturday night.
You're gonna lie to everybody on air?
No, there were some Saturday nights where I was kind of moving around town, but I wasn't quite down. I don't know whether I'm getting old. Well, I am getting old, but or it's like, I don't know if it's like get off my lawn, or it's just downtown was a little crazy this summer. And I like to just walk through places, and do I know somebody? I'll grab a beer, I'll just chat. And when there's a 20-minute line outside play, I'm not waiting in line to walk through.
I wish I had made my first Saturday bar hopping.
There was a couple others where I was kind of mild, but this past Saturday it was kind of late. It was fun. Saratoga, part of it, I always say, is beyond the racetrack and going downtown. And there were some Tuesday nights I was down watching the Ralph.
Yeah, checking the band out, right?
The party
Love
class.
Ralph.
Well, they played again on Saturday night. They had a Saturday night closeout outside. The weather was great. They had a great crowd, so I went down and watched them. And then I kind of walked around, went to my normal haunt, Desperate Annie's, and had a pop there as well, and walked through some of the other spots. But that was fun, and it was just kind of a good capper to the season. But as I say, it also put me on. I'm ready for a little sleep in tomorrow.
You just raised business by about 50%. Now you named your spot, number 7 over here, naming his spot. People are going to be flocking to DA. Maybe I can see Seth Merrow at DA.
Come join us tonight. You're invited, of course. You're always invited, but you never. Our Mike McAdam and I got to check with Mike. I haven't checked yet, but our closing day, our annual tradition for probably 5 or 6 years now has been Desperate Annie's.
Yeah, but you roll into DA's when I'm rolling into bed.
But that's now who's telling the stories.
That's over-under. It's about 11:30 to arrival.
I won't deny we arrive late usually, but I'm not sure that's actually your bad. On most
okay.
Yeah,
well, that's fair. That's fair too.
But again, it's been fun. And we're kind of vamping here for a minute. We're going to close this show and come back, usually to the Paula play of the day, but we're going to have it after the top of the hour. So we'll have Steve Bick on with his play of the day momentarily. But we'll wrap it up for the Handicapper Sport. Again, great job. It's been fun. And hopefully we get out with some winners this afternoon as well.
Absolutely. Thanks to everybody that supports us each and every summer up here. We have a blast doing it. Hope you appreciate it. And great to work with you as well, which doesn't happen as often as I'd like. So, a lot of fun. Best of luck to you today. Great job, number 7, delivering it each and every day up here. Hardest working guy in racing here.
That was a lot of fun. It was a little crazy. But, we'll wrap it up for the Handicapper Support on this closing day at Saratoga. But stay tuned. There's still an hour of action left to wrap it up completely. Racing Across America is up next.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.